Hesse, good gig, and Berger puts it away for another point.
Well, Hesse had no warning there from Wilton that he was going in. He thought he was sitting out the rest of the night. He comes and makes a good serve, a good dig right there, and Berger finishes it. Bo's got 13 points in a hurry.
Hesse serving again. They battle at the net. Hambley, they bump, and that's 14. BYU is unraveled. They have unraveled.
Well put, Mr. Leahy. Unraveled is a perfect word for it. Don't give up, though. They could come back easily.
For the game, Hesse on the serve. Hambley, that's good. Gets the ball down in front of Wilton, side out. Brigham Young, 14 for the Rainbows, 9 for Brigham Young. And the story of this game lies in the dogged determination of these reserves by the Rainbow men. Cantor to Berger, off the block, side out. That window of opportunity for BYU comes slamming shut.
Berger just cannot be stopped right now. He is really hot. Cantor's feeding him. 16 kills for Nicholas from Austria.
Berger serving. Sinclair to Gant down the middle. Hambley off the block and out. So it's side out for Brigham Young. Vonnegut will serve for BYU. Cantor to Sean Scott.
Credit the passers. Credit Mike Cantor. Sean Scott moving back into the middle. When he plays with the first team, he goes to the outside. When he plays with this group, he's playing the middle, giving Jason Oliver rest. Matt Johnson for the game.
And that is long.
Ooh, a millimeter long. It wasn't far out. He almost had himself an ace.
Serving for Brigham Young is Carl Van Roosen. Just over, no, did not get it over the tape. Oh. BYU is not playing well right now. Faust comes back in for Hesse.
Plum crowd becoming a factor. They can sniff a win.
Hambley, but there is Berger. Cantor goes to Scott. Great dig up in the stands. Saved by Sinclair. They battle at the net. And the ball goes down. It's Faust. It's Faust. And the Rainbow reserves, the players that usually watch, these players have now won. The final is 15-9. The Rainbows over Brigham Young, and we will continue from Klum.
Story of the night. Aaron Wilton with 9 kills. Look at the Bows dig, 16-13. Blocks 6-0, but Aaron Wilton with 9 kills. He's got 10 digs. How about Nicholas Berger with 16 kills, hitting .419, and Mike Cantor dishing out 45 assists in 2 games. That's 22 a game. That's some good setting.
Well, we go to game number 4, and you notice that we'll see Golston in the game now. He's from Yorba Linda, California. Larkin also has returned to the lineup for BYU, and they start off with an ace from Gant, and it's 1-0.
Well, we've now seen 5 out of the 6 BYU starters. The only starter who hasn't played, Jason Watson, their starting setter. Otherwise, Carl McGowan going for the big W.
And Mike Wilton
still playing the reserves.
Yeah, still playing the reserves. That'll be returned. Hambley, Sinclair from the 10-foot line. Johnson there, Berger there. Cantor will set Sean Scott, who hits it long. And that is a point for Brigham Young, and it's 2-0 here in game number 4. Let me put the record straight here. What the Rainbows did in game number 3 is phenomenal. It is unbelievable. These are reserves now. These are the players that don't usually get into the lineup. And they defeated a team that is ranked number 4, using most of their starters. That was just a great moment for Rainbow Volleyball.
It really was, Jim. And it wasn't like BYU played poorly. Again, they hit .322 that game, which is a great percentage. It's above their season average. And the Rainbows simply hit .490.
What the Rainbows did was they embarrassed Brigham Young. Make no mistake, they embarrassed them. And And now Brigham Young trying to make up for it. They lead 3-0 here in game 4. Larkin down the middle, but Larkin tests the structure of the building by trying to hit it out. Not of the court. Hit it out of the building. He hit it that far. So Faust, he's had an up and down night, but he has experienced moments of joy, especially putting down the point to defeat Brigham Young. He hits it long here. So we talk a lot about the window of opportunity. As long as you can keep that window open, as the window now is open for the Cougars. They lead at 3-0 here in game number 4. Jump serve Sinclair. Johnson to Cantor. They keep it alive. Cantor with a nice touch save. Johnson gets it across. Sinclair is there. Gant setting Larkin. That go off the block.
No
That go
touch.
off the block.
No touch.
Handley is saying, come on, it had to go off the block. Quite frankly, I thought it went off the block.
You know, Sinclair hits the ball so hard, so high, so fast, it's hard to see. And that replay certainly isn't going to give us a definitive answer, but the ball didn't look like it changed direction there. If there was a touch, it was minuscule. There's a tough serve by Berger.
BYU trying to get the side back. That's a point for the Bows. Hitting was Golston. Now he's been on the bench all night, and all of a sudden he's called to action. So it is 1 serving 3, and Berger serves again and then runs back to get on the court. Gant to Larkin. Larkin off of Berger's side out Brigham Young. So Brigham Young wants to be more businesslike here in game number 4. They want to elevate themselves up to where they usually are. They fell from the pinnacle in game number 3.
And for those who missed our Bud fact, Bows usually either win in 3 or they win in 5. In 4, here's what happens. Neither team has won a match in 4 games.
Cantor. See, these reserves are getting cocky. They're getting cocky because now they're starting to laugh through the net. They're having fun. They're having fun. You know, Cantor said, hey, you've done that to us all night, big fella, big guy, big person. I just wanted to see how it feels. Feels pretty good.
You know what's great is they have nothing to lose. They know that they're supposed to lose, so they just go out and play relaxed, and they're playing well enough to win.
Larkin, but the Rainbows will return it. I mean, this is a little miracle team here. Down the middle comes Hambley. Is that out? That is out. Hambley runs up.
Guy Owato, the head referee, called it out. It's his call. He overruled the linesman. The linesman made a late call. It was Guy Owato's call. He made a good call, in my opinion, there. Linesman had a late call. Hambley doing a little bit too much begging right now.
And he's being allowed to beg. Meanwhile, the Rainbow.
It's a sign of a good official, Jim, in my opinion, who can overrule lines and make the call that they think is right.
And then put up with no nonsense.
That's right.
The Rainbow's bevy of lawyers was hanging around on the periphery. That time, BYU gets it down for the side out. It is 3 serving 2. BYU up by 1 here in game number 4. They will wipe the perspiration off the floor.
Jim, the only problem with a controversial play like that is it might awaken the sleeping giant. A guy like Ethan Watts might come to life there. He's only gotten 25 sets tonight, while Hambley's gotten 45. Usually it's the other way around.
Bad pass by Wilton. Panther trying to save. Matt Johnson flies into the first row along with Wilton. And that's a point for Brigham Young. They are up 4-2. So Golston will serve again.
Well, Jim, another thing that must come into play here is the reserves' condition. They're not used to playing 3 games in a row like this. Playing game 2, game 3, now game 4.
They wanted to go far. Great accomplishment. Little touch. That time by Sean Scott. That's kept alive by Hambley. They go cross court to Larkin.
Oh, my. What a hammer. That ball was set to the ceiling. I don't know how Larkin even had the great sense of timing. Watch this. The ball set really, really high. He kind of waits and waits and then goes up. Good timing by Scott Larkin.
Excellent dig by Sinclair. Larkin gets it across advantage now, Rainbows. Cantor hits it, Hambly returns it, and it's returned again.
Again, this Bow group, very unorthodox. They got the left-handed setter, so Cantor's a little sort of hard to get used to once in a while. Here he is hitting that little lefty, catches the blockers off guard. Sean Scott pokes it down. BYU saying, wait a second, you guys aren't supposed to be doing this.
Hollywood movies are made.
It's like a little mini Rudy here.
Larkin, returned by Berger. That touch by Sinclair. Hambly on the save. That is just long by Faust.
So there's a sign of inexperience. They had BYU on the ropes with a free ball and couldn't convert. Those should be down 95% of the time, Jim.
Larkin on the serve, Rainbows to return. Berger, that's in between Golston and Larkin. So a side out for the Bows. They trail in this fourth game 5-2. The first game went to BYU 17-15. Second game, Brigham Young 15-10. Third game, Hawaii using the reserves 15-9 over Brigham Young. Cantor will serve. Mike Cantor. He's out of Los Angeles, California. Jump serve, but right into the net. Inside out BYU.
Once again, Jim, when you see a serve, like jump serve like that go into the net by Cantor, you wonder if condition isn't beginning to play a part here in this game.
Berger, that's long. And that's a point for Brigham Young. And they lead it now by 4, 6-2. And I agree. These reserves have been out there for a long time, and they're starting to hit a little bit long now. Not as crisp as they were in game number 3. Wilton off the block. That'll be a side out.
Again, Mike Cantor doing a nice job of distributing the ball around. Wilton getting his share. Berger getting his share. Faust in the middle once in a while.
Just over the tape by Wilton. Sinclair off the block. Keeping it alive is Johnson. Advantage BYU. Bad set. Keeping it alive is Sean Scott. Sinclair. Blocked by Berger, but out.
Berger almost had that stuff block. Just missed the line by inches. You see him squinting there. He knows he had Sinclair in the closet.
So Gant will now serve for Brigham Young. 6 serving 2 here in game number 4. Gant with the jump serve. That's good. Wilton, that's right at the net, and it's hammered by Hambly. 7-2 Brigham Young. And this was the way the score is now, the way this game is going, this is the way game 3 should have gone. It did not. Rainbow's able to steal one from Brigham Young. We'll be back. Leads in this match 2-1, and they lead here in game 4 7-2. Protect your car with the only gasoline that has a cleansing power of Techroline. Chevron, simply smarter. That too. There you see the kills, 84-73. Those are kills. Matt Johnson is rejected by Hambly and also Golston. And that is a point for Brigham Young, and they now lead 8-2 here in game number 4.
Excellent blocking by BYU. You see the two blockers up there together. Tough for Matt Johnson to hit against that wall.
Cantor, that's touched by Faust. Hambly blocked by Faust.
One of the few hitting errors by Hambly all night. Only his 7th error of the night in 49 swings. Faust getting the block solo.
2 serving 8. Faust will serve for Hawaii. Hambly, good dig by Cantor, at least to get there, but the errant ball goes out in front of the humanity across the way. Faust was there. Matt Johnson dove in. Side out Brigham Young. Sinclair now will serve for Brigham Young. Very steady player. Always at the height of his game. In his consistency lies his worth. Larkin, Hambley, and Bolton on that front line. Jump serve Sinclair. Just a touch this time. Berger blocked by Larkin, but the ball went out. That's a side out now for the Rainbow men. And they will serve 2, serving 8. Berger will now serve for Hawaii. Larkin bumps it to Gant. Handler comes over. That'll be returned. Faust is there, keeping it alive. Cantor to Berger from the 10-foot line. That's blocked. And that's a point for the Rainbow. That block went out.
It was a long time between points 2 and 3, and the Bows worked hard for this one. Berger once again hitting from behind the 10-foot line. 19th kill of the night. He leads all Bows.
Got it in front of Hambley. Hambley trying to respond. He does. Hambley with the hammer.
Hambley leads all Cougars with 29 kills.
So Hambley will serve. 8 serving 3, just over the tape. Berger is there. Cantor, however, hits the nets. And that's a point for Brigham Young. They lead 9-3. So Hambley will serve again for the Cougars. You have to like the Rainbow effort, though. If you're into effort, and they have an A+ tonight. Berger. That is out. Side out Rainbows. It was blocked by Watts. And the ball went out. So Matt Johnson will serve. Into the game comes Big Mike. Mike Manthei comes in for Matt Johnson.
Matt Johnson gets a well-deserved round of applause from the club crowd. Campbell High School graduate. One of Mike Wilton's favorite attitude players. He's got a great attitude. Hard worker.
Manthei serves down the line. Sinclair to Gant to Larkin with the touch. And a net violation. Side out for Brigham Young. Brigham Young in control here in game number 4.
Well, Jim, you can't blame the Bows for not figuring out the BYU offense. So they had 3 blockers up on Larkin and still couldn't stop him.
And there's an ace. Rainbow's uncertain just for an instant, and it cost them. Berger might have gone for it. Sean Scott might have gone for it. Neither did. It is 10-3.
A short serve here. Sean Scott thinking he's a middle hitter and doesn't need to pass. In that case, I think he does do. Well, there goes Berger taking that short serve.
Wilton, that's a home run. That's a home run. That would have been out of any ballpark. Wilton may have slipped before he hit that ball, but that ball skied to the rafters into the cheap seats. But then in Plum, every seat is a cheap seat. And hopefully all of those seats will be filled tomorrow night. This place is, I mean, I could talk about this place all night. It has an ambiance that no other place in the world has. Because if there's another place in the world that has the same ambience of Clum, it's in a third world country about to be overthrown.
You know, one of the things we're gonna miss, I think, Jim, is the fact that Clum is so humid that nearly every single play you've got to wipe up the floor. When they go to the new arena, it's air conditioned. Matches may take hour and a half. We won't have these 2.5 hour, 3 hour marathons, half of which is wiping up the sweat from the players.
Yeah, but the employment for the munchkins, the employment for the little people when they go out there, that won't be. They like to get in there and be part of it too. Plum Gym over the years has posted some of the great moments you can say about the ambiance and it's stuffy, and all of that is true. All of that is true. But the great moments, we experienced one of the great moments, I think, tonight. Just for the volleyball players who don't usually get on the court. They see the munchkins. See, I mean, where else can you do that? You're going to let them do that in an air conditioning gym? No. They're here and it's amazing what goes on here at Plum on the periphery of the action. But when they have a reunion, they will come together and they will say, hey, remember when we beat BYU in that one game and no one gave us a chance? It happened tonight. That'll be returned by the Cougars. Back set for Hambley. That goes off of Manthei. And that will be a point for BYU closing in on the match now. They lead 12-3 here in game number 4. So we go back to the different philosophies of the coaches. I know you've mentioned this before. Who will survive tomorrow night? Who will be able to walk out of this place tomorrow night knowing that it was his philosophy that prevailed? McGowan of BYU, who played most of his starters, or Wilton? Will Wilton be the sly fox? Will Wilton slowly set the ambush by what he has done tonight? We will see tomorrow night. Side out for the Rainbow.
What he's done, for those who just joined us, is he's rested his starters 3 of the 4 games tonight, whereas McGowan has played most of his starters for all 4 games.
Hambley is blocked. And that's a point for the Rainbow men. Sean Scott will serve. Down the middle, Sinclair. The can to Hambley. Hambley hit the net. Hambley's starting to lose it. Hambley's starting to lose it. So McGowan calls a timeout. Hambley is playing like nothing can go wrong with his game, and it has. And he is having trouble handling it. Put that right into the tape. I mean, right into the tape. And you can see that he is not pleased. And there you see Mike Wilton. Mike Wilton, the sly one. Remember, Mike Wilton into the game for BYU comes Rob Stowell. And Stowell.
What a great shot by Gant that time.
Has come into the game along with, Stoquist. 12 serving 5. Cantor, Hambley is there. Down the middle, Larkin. Larkin shotguns that one. And it is 13-5. Larkin is amazing. By the way, he can stay up there.
We see them set him out of the back row. He's only 6'3". He comes leaping and flying out of there.
Wilton mishits that time. And that's a point for Brigham Young, and now they are serving for the match. 14-5 here in game number 4. They were able to win the first game, 17-15, 15-10 in the second. Hawaii coming back, winning 15-9 in the third. And Larkin, who is going for the game winner, hits it long. So Mike Cantor will now serve for the Rainbow men. Jump serve. Just a touch over the net. Wilton, that'll be returned by Larkin. Gant from his back into the net. That's a point. So Cantor will serve again. Jump serve by Cantor. Sinclair. Berger puts it up into the light. That's still good. Gant with the touch. Gant with the save. Hambley down the middle to Larkin with the touch. Saved by Faust. And Sean Scott hits it wide. And we will go back to Stowell, who will serve for the men.
Well played point, though, Jim. Both sides scrambling there.
I mean, the Rainbows can really take pride in the way they play. They were very inexperienced. And they are the reserve. That ball is hit long by Stowell. He's just into the game. So Wilton, Aaron Wilton, will now serve for the University of Hawaii men's volleyball team. Larkin with a mishit. Sinclair on the save. And Larkin gets it over advantage now for the Rainbows on the free ball, but hitting the ball long is Faust.
Call a touch on the block there by the linesman.
Oh, they did.
The point. They did call a touch.
So Sinclair over, and he registers his disdain just by the way he looks. Just over the net again with that little bump serve, and Sinclair says, "You're going to do that? I'll take it home," and he did. 14 serving 7. Jesse Gant, jump serve, good jump.